Hello, all. We're back. Thank you for putting up with that early break. But Whisper needed a few more minutes to finish getting off his whiskers, and yeah, this was good times. First time I've had a clean shave in quite a while.
I can literally not imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you're just like, no, my face looks so much smaller. I just didn't even realize how small my face was.
Where's my chin? It's about here.
Yeah.
It's funny because I first met you when you were clean shaven, so my head image of Sean is still clean shaven. The beard was like almost glued on in my mind.
Yeah. It came out so quick. Okay, we're back.
So Sean, when they come over, let me ask you this: do we want to just say you folks prep, and then we'll flash back to what your prep was, or do you want to make some rolls for setups?
So like, I feel like we know it's not Dipper. We know it's not Samara. It can't be Whisper. It can't be Whisker.
Yeah, it can't. It might be Whisker, and it might be you. Both of you are. So bear in mind that Whisper is wanted by the Legion, because technically they're. Oh, I'm sure somebody bandies about words like traitor, but they're part of the Lost Legion. So like, got the tattoo and everything. So yeah, close inspection on Whisper may yield. Well, it's really funny because I have a feeling that both of you are sitting in the cabin and you kind of look at each other and it's like, they're after me. It's like, after you, after me.
Yeah, why would they be after you?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I feel like in that situation, it makes the most sense to like ask Samara and Dipper if they'd be willing to be the welcome crew, right? And like figure out exactly what's up so that we have a little more like ways to interact and engage and like hide and pull shenanigans or whatever.
Yeah, we could be hiding around the corner, and if they say, well, we're looking for an Alexander Yesh, we can hide you. And if they say we're looking
and then
for
we come out with
Saki
guns.
Yonayama, yeah.
Yep.
I don't want to come with guns.
How does that feel to you, Jen, Lauren?
It sounds great. I mean, you can tell Dipper is palpably terrified at that idea, but it's like, I will do it. Like, if you need me to do it, I will do it.
Okay.
How scared are you, Dipper?
I feel like my internal processing units are alerting me to danger through both cores, so like pretty scared.
Awesome. So the figures that you've seen, the like large kind of primal hissing figure and the like vaguely matronly kind of educator figure. I think that when your fear levels spike, right, like when you actually feel fear in your cores, there are certain, like as you're walking towards the bolt hole, the porthole in the ship, you see this like there are sections of the ship that appear darkened, and you see a strange figure with what might almost be construed as a crown, so like metallic points coming off the top of their head as you walk by. They don't introduce themselves, they don't say any words, they just exist in the darkness in the background as you walk towards this particular group.
Super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Jen and Dipper. What does it look like when you introduce yourselves to this group?
I mean, Samara will introduce herself as Finisette, the captain of this ship, obviously, because she is the captain.
Oh, you're the captain.
Yes, clearly.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was just the pilot,
even if
obviously.
The paperwork that we already forged doesn't say that Finisette is the captain, Samara is 100% like, oh no, there was just a confusion with the paperwork. I'm the captain of the ship. Welcome. What can we do for you?
And I think Dipper is like very much like has resorted to being a thing and like just kind of quietly being there next to you and is trying to give up that like air of like submissive subversion. Like I respond to you.
Oh.
Exactly.
So do you have what does your paperwork say, Dipper, just so that I can note your alias here?
Oh yeah, I figured out it is DNT-3X, serial number 1073545.
Wow.
Good to know. Cool. So there's this a little bit scary moment, right? Because like Legion soldiers are showing up, and they've got so like they're not in like their full battle regalia, which is like basically like 40K kind of space armor looking stuff. But like they walk through the doors and they're in their like they've got like actual like serious armor. Like they're not their heavy blasters are slung, but like they're carrying in some serious hardware. They've got helmets that you can see the flicker of readouts underneath the actual like plexi, but they've got this like no face, just glass kind of thing going on, and they definitely project that. I don't know. They're a little bit scary. They're like they don't come across as like the friendly, warm kind of individuals that just want to shake your hands. But they're the crew that's actually investigating is very much they actually look a lot like what Sean is dressed like right now. They've got like caps on. They've got like actual like cloth. They do have like a sidearm on their hip, but it's like holstered and like clipped over, so like there's no like threat implicit there. It's just like part of their like outfit. And they walk on and they've got like the electronic equivalent of clipboards. So like you do see like a little bit of like muscle flex, and then you see like a bunch of like pencil pushers come with them effectively. But there is a so they walk on, and the moment that you introduce yourself, effectively the person says like, look, we understand you folks are in a rush. I'm going to need your crew manifest. I'm going to need you to get all of your crew assembled. These are my associates, and they introduce them. They've got like, I mean, they're nameless NPCs, and they're like, please show them to your, I scanned your ship. It doesn't seem like you have a cargo area, but they are going to have to look at your engine compartment, a couple of other things. Like, please show them there. And like we'll try and get through this as painlessly as possible and be out of your hair as soon as we're able. So that's where we're at. Fina Set, do you want to give me like some sort of role or to like convince them? So what does this look like? Like let's flash to the other side real quick. It's just we'll come back to this spot, but like Sean and Steven, is like one of you frantically putting on a spacesuit and hiding? Like, what's the plan here?
So I feel like as soon as we see like, the 80% Space Marine armor folks like step onto the ship, I look at Whisper and I say, I don't think that's for you.
Okay, so and it's Josh, you sort of hinted at this last time, so I'm gonna lead with this just to say like, so we swap you with one of the other people in the cryotube, so our numbers still match up, and we pull someone that isn't Alondra, because she's probably even more wanted than the two of us put
exactly
together, to be one of our crew.
Yep.
If you recall, Alondra showed up with like a captain and everybody
like
needs
6
their
folks, right?
evil space mystic. You
Yeah.
had like a couple of folks in that webbing, right?
Yeah. So I think it's scurry to to get you into one of those cryotubes and get somebody else out, so that when they come out.
So normally I there would be no roll, but you're doing this under pressure in an extremely short amount of time, so like minutes under pressure. But like the don't want them nobles looking down on me. Sorry. Yes, let's focus. All I'm saying is this is dangerous, right? Like you're putting someone in cryostasis and then webbing them to the outside of the ship using technology that none of you are actually guild engineer enough to handle.
Yep.
You don't have Ula here to friggin' throw some like serious rig rolls at this. So I feel like there's a couple of obstacles. You can tell me which skill you want to use to try and overcome them. But like you got to get this pirate in character and up to speed ASAP. You got to modify their credentials. You got to use some doctor to put people in stasis. You got to like use some rig to try and get them in and out of the webbing, or maybe scramble. I don't know. Like, what are we rolling to try and handle this entire mess in like ASAP mode?
Yep.
I was gonna say I would like Samara to flash back to just having gotten false paperwork on everybody, because
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's totally doable. It's gonna be a 1 stress flashback.
Great.
Because it does feel like, since Samara comes with like a false ID for herself, I imagine that she could have false IDs for other people. So I don't think that that's an issue, but it is a little bit of a fuss. So like 1 stress.
Yeah.
But so that's good. How are we getting people in and out of the ship here?
So not that I'm any good at it, but the thing that resonated with me was scramble, which is just like the get you in, get you out, move around, like everybody like moving fast to try and like get everybody in. That doesn't cover the technical elements of it, but like that's the like run, press the buttons really fast and get you in and out.
So that feels fine. Steven, do you feel like that's kind of, is that okay? Like, is that something that you folks are on board with here?
Oh yeah, totally. And then like I've got 1 in rig, so if we needed to like use rig to like unhook someone from the hull and then like manipulate the webbing in order to like pull it off of them, and then maybe I can like help pull it, like be an active participant in getting into it, that kind of way. Like maybe that's a thing I can do.
Sure. So let's make a roll. I'm going to call it as risky because there are a lot of factors that we're not accounting for, and you're trying to basically act through haste. And I'm going to say that on a 4 or 5, we might have a far more interesting situation. So
I'm going to add another gambit to our field because that last roll was risky, and I got a 6 on it.
There you go. Yeah.
So there's a 3rd gambit that we've got.
I was gonna say, if somebody needs an assist, I can totally assist by super BSing the guards and being very slow about my explanations.
I think that makes a lot of sense, especially since the action that we're taking is scramble, and so the issue is more speed than precision. The more time you give us, the better. We just got a new move called the Getaway. The Getaway, your crew gains potency when you scramble or helm to avoid capture or to run a blockade. When doing a delivery job, take +1D on the engagement roll. I think we are scrambling to avoid capture. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, it does.
Awesome. So I don't know
if this means like running from people, but this is a clever use of a power. I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah, awesome. And it's brand new. We just got it.
It's brand new. Use your shiny toy. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm wishing I had some scramble. So that's cool.
Oh, good. You picked the thing you don't have any dots in. Excellent.
It's just the thing that made sense as to what we were doing.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So Steven, I think it's a group action. You and I.
Sure.
Both rolling our meager scramble. I'm okay on stretch. So I'm happy to lead it.
Okay.
Do you get anything special if you spend a gambit? You just can spend a gambit instead of spend.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. I'm wishing I had 1 more XP so I could just buy side dancing and be like, "Hey guys, my name is Al Eas."
These are not the nobles you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna push to get an extra die, and that puts me at 1 die. Jen, who do you want to assist?
I don't have strong feelings either way.
Okay.
Whoever needs it more.
Well,
if you wanna
If
pull,
you have 0 dice.
I've got 1 die in scramble as default, so I think assisting Sean makes sense.
Sean, how many dice are you rolling normally?
Normally 0. I'm pushing to bring that to 1.
Okay. Yeah, then Sean is probably good because it shifts his odds from 50-50 to 75% chance of passing at least on a 4 to 5.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Having 2 dice.
Math brain.
We could also spend a gambit. You got 3
you have 3. Burn those things. Come on.
I think I'm
take some risks.
I'm going to. Yeah.
Cool.
If that's cool. All right. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's roll this risky. And I think that it would have been risky standard, but now is it risky great because we have potency?
Yeah.
Awesome. Whiskey. Great. And I've got 3 bonus dice. 1 for pushing, 1 for assist, 1 for gambit.
Oh yeah.
She
Here's
just
mine.
roll sixers.
I rolled
Oh.
one.
All right, so I
Have
take
that
stress.
stress.
Stressful.
Mm,
Who was leading?
I was. So I
Sean.
took-
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so you know, it's a little stressful. It's a little
It's a
stressful.
lot stressful. Yeah, I mean, I just took 3 stress, 2 for pushing and 1 for this. Yeah, I think it's like, get in, get out. You know, like, oh crap, is it ready? Green lights. Does that mean go to release or go to put you in? You know, I think there's like a lot of these like, you know, and I think that because you're skilled in rig as well, that like we have some sense of the right thing to do. But yeah, I feel like it's just barely.
Left, your other left.
Yeah, it's Josh. If we can, since we have great effect on this, I think I'd like to say that the person we pull out is well prepped to
And awake
tap over.
and
Yeah.
has a good ID and also has at least somewhat similar coloration and or appearance to
Right.
Scion.
Yeah.
Not enough so that they're the same person, but enough so that a bad photo of them will probably not flag issues.
Yep.
Cool. So Scion, what was your alias, just so that I know?
Alfred. Alfred E.S.
And Sean, what do you go by on your paperwork?
Hank Dumfrey.
So we're gonna flash back to poor Samara and Differ standing in front of all of these Legion individuals. And as you're leading them around the ship, you sure enough see you know, these additional people, and you know, there's some of those like very standard questions like Mr. Eos, and like they find a couple of things that are wrong with the ship. There's someone who's like, your engine seems like it was tampered with, you know that's illegal. I'm gonna have to write you a citation, and like things like that.
It's like a fix.
It's like, oh, I blew in the middle of space. What were we supposed to do? You know, like, so sorry. We just patched it. We're planning to go and see a legit Starsmith about it.
Yep. Our tail light is out.
Our tail light is out.
Yeah,
And
totally.
and actually, like, that is 100% the sort of thing that we do intentionally, so that if we ever get pulled over, then like, you know, the space police have a reason to let us off with just
for
like,
sure.
all right.
Yeah. Fina never, or not Fina, Ula never allows the ship to be 100% fixed, because then our work would be done and that would be boring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and we have a storm drive rather than a jump drive, so they're going to notice something's a little. Yeah, it's running hot.
So let me ask for this. Can I get some sort of, I don't know, something like sway or consortia or something just to like help talk them through their unease and or distract them while they're looking around and all that stuff? Because like I feel like you have enough things on the ship that like they don't immediately flag anything, but I want to get like at least something that allays any of their fears, because like they're going to not only have to go back with nothing, they're going to have to go back and then convince someone else who's not going to be very understanding of the fact that they found a broken taillight and that seems fine, right? Like their jobs seem fine, but like they need a little bit more. So like, can you folks help me out here? They're suspicious and they're looking pretty carefully. So like, I don't think they're going to find anything, but like, help me allay their fears and give them some confidence to stand up to somebody who might be like, no, go back or whatever.
I'm super comfortable doing sway. I have 2 in it. Lauren, if you want to give me assist, that would be great. Otherwise, I can either push myself or grab a gambit.
I can totally help. Like I think Dippa could be like the sort of protocol-esque bot of like, and this is that, and this is this, and much like Samara was like delaying and kind of being a bit slow. I think Dippa's like gonna do the same thing.
Yeah. Neat.
Yeah.
Look legit.
I could see Dipper giving like really boring technical readout specs on things like,
Yes.
oh, you want to know about this? Yes, I can give you all of the maintenance logs for the last 7 years of this engine.
Oh, definitely.
It's just like really boring.
Log date. Sorry.
Okay, so is this risky? What is this?
Yeah, I feel like it's I feel like it's You know what? I'm going to say that it's controlled for right now because I think that the disguises and the swaps and the great effect has made it somewhat controlled. But you do need to make the roll, and if the roll gets like a 4 to 5 or something, then we'll enter a risky position, and you might have to make a slightly more pressing roll.
Okay.
Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
All right, controlled standard. I'm taking an assist from Lauren, and I'm going to use a gambit, even though I can't regenerate it on a controlled roll.
If you want to make it risky, Jen, you can always shift position. You can always be like, I want to make this riskier by saying like, hey, I need you to get off my ship now and like get great effect by like shooing them along or something like that. I mean, that's always an option. I don't know that you want to in this case.
Yeah, I don't think I want to in this
Cool.
space.
Okay.
I mean, Samara is generally a risk taker, but I feel like she has a good bead on the time for risks and the time for less risk.
There is a time.
So yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I got 4s.
All them 4s.
Yep. I didn't shave my beard. I can't roll 6s.
No, it's really funny actually. The quote that I used earlier, the shave whiskers roll 6ers, comes from chat. BP definitely threw it in there. I was like, yeah, that's the saying for today for sure. So I think let's take a look there. That was controlled, and that's fine. I think that what you do is I believe that on a controlled 4 to 5 we can enter our risky position, right?
Right. Or there can be a minor
or
I can't particularly think of a minor consequence so much
I can
as
think of one, a fine. Like you have, like they give us a ticket.
The thing
right?
is,
like,
I don't know that I can get away with a fine, because what's going to happen is they're going to walk back on board and they're going to be like, everything seems in order, and then someone in purple and gold is going to stand up and go, no, and they're going to come on board, right? Like, and then it's risky because there's still no scion, right? Like they're going to be like, where's this individual? And then like, you're like, right here, and they're like, you're lying to me, and you're like, one more sway roll. And it'll be
I mean, I was going to say a consequence I thought of is one of their sneaky guard people like puts a tracking device on our ship and then lets us go.
Ooh. That seems like more than a minor consequence, but it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a shitty tracker. We don't know.
Yeah,
Up to you.
Legion is like tier 4. It's not that shitty a tracker. Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I'd be okay with that. Do you folks want to have exciting adventures with the Legion tracking you?
I think that's cool. Yeah.
Great.
I mean,
yeah, I think you shake their hands, you sign their paperwork, they go back on board, and then this is exactly that show where, they walk on and they say like, everything seems in order. We gave them a fine. It amounted to like pocket change effectively. And the individual stands up and says, incompetence. And before they go, like the captain of the ship just holds up their hand and says like, but we also gave them a little present. And then you see the radar with the boop, 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 like, as your ship is moving, and you hear this, this chuckle that sounds eerily like Scions, almost as if they're using the same actor for both roles or something. And
awesome.
yeah.
All right, as soon as they get off, I'm just like, oh, God, Ula's hat.
It makes sense too, because it's like they get on, they're like, okay, not everything is like kosher here. Something weird has happened.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna like
not here to like know all the nooks and crannies of the ship, right?
Yep, yeah, it's true. But yeah, we're not gonna like harass these people or whatever. We're just gonna follow them to wherever they're going and catch them off guards, more off guards.
Yep.
Awesome. So I think that you folks transition through. I'm just gonna make a little clock for myself because it's funny.
That makes sense. This is the way in which it can be a minor consequence. Is hopefully you're only putting one tick on this clock rather than multiple.
I think as we're leaving, Dip is like, phew, and I pulls the curtain across like the void eel tank, and
nice, yeah.
Glad they didn't check there.
Shrugs out of their cloak, and there's just 2 burning cores.
Oh yeah. I think Dipper feels like very pleased with themselves for like managing to get through that ruse, even though they.
Oh yeah, Dipper was profesh.
A real profile. Anyway.
I'm sure that the Urbot in your visions is just like hiding from organics. How unbecoming 83.
Nice.
But Meanwhile, Dipper's like, "Did you see me, eel? Beep boop." Sorry, I just I can almost see the panels in a comic book about this. All right, so I think that unless somebody, do you folks want to do anything, or do we want to just jump forward to like 3 days later in the belts of Iota?
Yeah, I think I'm good with just jumping ahead.
Yeah.
So it's
The only thing I wanted to do
go.
was when Samara sees Whisper without a beard, she does like a triple take. That's all I wanted.
Nice.
So she does a triple take, but does she like contain any other reaction, or is it just?
Does she contain any other reaction? No,
I
I
don't
don't
know if
think
there
she
was just like a
contains
shot
it.
of the ship flying and laughter, or like what?
No, I don't think that she's laughing at him. I think that she was like shocked, and then she's kind of like, all right, that's you. Yep, you were in for penny, in for pound.
Yeah.
I support your disguise. I think she has like a little bit more respect now for Whisper.
Oh, nice. It's a look. Oh, it feels so strange.
Whisper does
I'm
what's
sorry.
necessary.
You can feel the wind on your face again.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I feel like it just says like 3 days later. So let's talk a little bit about the Iota system. The Iota system has these pretty famous asteroid belts, and I'm talking about like asteroid belts that are like the ones past Mars, where it should have been a planet, or it could have been a planet once upon a time, but it's been shattered, and now there's just like rocks in a ring slowly rotating in space around a star kind of thing.
I think we flew through that when we were evading Drexler's Raiders, right?
Yeah,
when we were
yeah,
here
that's
last
correct.
time. Yeah.
Traditionally, this is where the Drexler's Raiders are holed up, but the belts are pretty big, right? Like the Drexler's Raiders aren't like every inch from every rock, right? Like they're not hiding behind it. Oh, although people may have been afraid of that at one time, they're certainly not afraid of that anymore. The Mighty Drexler's Raiders are not doing great. You spend a lot of time actually doing some maneuvers down dark hyperspace lanes, because there's actually a fair amount of Legion ships near areas of the rocks, and you can actually see that some of the rocks have been like pulverized with like matter cannon fire, and you see like hulks of ships and things like that, like that they just bombarded sections of this. The Drexler's Raiders are like, haha, we're hiding behind rocks, and Legion's like, haha, coherence cannons. So
We've seen those too. They're bad.
Yeah, it's a little, it's pretty obvious that the Legion, oh, by the way, you see a battle cruiser. So yeah, it looks like, you can see like it, one might say that it almost has like Jaguar print along its side, but those of you that have seen space battles realize that it's matter cannon fire, right? Like it's got like pockmarks where like metal has been like fused on, and it's got that like black circular scarring, right? So it looks almost like it's Jaguar print along like sections of its side where it like took heavy fire. But yeah, it's just it takes a little while for you well, actually, I don't know. How do you folks want to enter the like, your meeting spot is somewhere inside those rings, like it's much deeper inside them. So somebody, like many of these asteroids have heavy metal content. They're not really as easy to like penetrate or break up. So yeah, how do you folks want to try and get to your meeting spot? What's the plan here?
I think like you were mentioning, taking like dark hyperspace lanes to avoid Lost Legion traffic. I think I'm inclined, to we can't take too long, because Alondra like needs to get back. Like we can't dick around on this. So I think we're taking, I mean, we're not going to go like through a wild meteor storm for no reason, but I think we're trying to take as direct a route as we can.
All right. So it feels like maybe there's some rolling involved. Maybe this is risky. Does that sound fair?
You cut out for a second. Risky.
I said I feel like there's just some rolling involved. Maybe this is risky. This feels like you have an obstacle. The obstacle is like the Legion ships monitoring the area, right?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I'll approach it with Helm, unless anyone else wants to try it a different way.
We fly the ship with Skulk.
Actually, that's a legit roll. It's not even a joke.
Hey, I do have 2 skulk.
Yeah, sure. I think that makes total sense.
Sure.
Why don't I give you an assist?
Yeah, totally.
And
I can be like,
well, because presumably I'm still doing helm stuff, but you're like navigating.
Right. Yeah. Like I lay a hand on your shoulder. I'm like, hey, I know these are your people and your former people, so let me just maybe we can talk about this. I say, what about these coordinates?
Yeah. And I think I sort of look at them and like look at the map and like look at them and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's give that a shot. Ula might say otherwise, but Ula's not here right now. So
yeah, okay.
Cool.
So it's a risky standard with an assist?
Mm-hmm.
Doable, yeah.
And if you want to push, it only costs you 1 stress.
Oh. No, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Famously said.
Yeah.
There you go. That famous, yeah. I'd be like, I've studied Legion maneuvers because I'm noble and everything.
No, everything's fine. You folks get to your meeting coordinates. No problems.
Okay.
Oh, great.
No problem.
Oh, man, something just seems off about this.
No, you're super sneaky, and you don't see any of the Legion ships moving out of position, and there's this, like, you fly through a bunch of rocks, and then there's this cool shot that everyone sees of a little thing going beep, 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 and then your ship is pulling through. So, by the way, what Sean has behind him is actually very apropos, which is that once upon a time, this clearly was a planet. I just double checked. The outer Iota ring actually has a big chunk of planet in the middle of it in one section. So you actually see the rocks like spreading out from it. And you like dive into the rocks and you're like weaving in. So like there's a lot of asteroids blocking your side, but eventually you come around a corner and they just separate and you see that there's this like cracked, broken 1/4 of a shell of a planet, and there is a battle cruiser hiding in the shadow of it, protected by like the metallic core. And as you approach it, you realize that in the darkness, some section of the battle cruiser are still like glowing cherry red. So they're like still under repair and like dealing with stuff. And you actually like, there's a cool thing where like you see some like fighters come in and they like pick you up and you transmit some codes and stuff like that. And then you're gonna get flown in. And as you get flown in, we're just gonna jump to the bridge of a ship somewhere else, and somebody goes, "They've stopped moving, sir." And he goes, "Good, engage the engines." And then we jump right back. 3-3-1, no problems. Everything's fine. You rolled just good. It's gonna be exciting. So exciting. I love clocks. I made clocks.
Clocks.
So you folks, I think there's probably a moment where you folks pull up to this battle cruiser and you attach to it. And like I said, you can still see it actually has like a couple of holes like straight through the hull that you can see that they actually like bulkheaded in and sealed so that like there isn't like vacuum going out, but you're seeing like people in spacesuits working on the surface. You actually see a bunch of Urbots because that's like generally what they're used for is working in conditions that humans aren't particularly accustomed to, like the deathless void of space.
Smart.
And so you attach to the surface of the ship, and let me ask this question: who's the first one? I'm expecting that it's Whisper, but like, who's the first one out the?
I mean, I'm pretty eager. Yeah, I think part of the docking we would have gotten Alondra and all her peeps out, and so that we're all like we're not gonna like leave them.
Oh, no, of course.
But I don't know if Whisper has to like shove past anybody, but he's pretty eager. He's trying to hold it in.
I think it's the opposite. I think the door opens. Whisper sees the daughter. The daughter's in military regalia, right, with like pins and like friggin' medals or some nonsense, greeblies. And as the door opens, it's obvious that the two of you are like we're about to hug when the pirate queen shoves you out of the way and goes, Captain!
I had that feeling. Alondra might mess up this moment. Nice. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not gonna scrap with Alondra right now. So yeah, I think she shoves me out of the way, and I'm like,
I like it right now.
Great. Yeah.
I love chat right now, by the way. Someone's like, everything's so let's talk about this. We've got some time. Nothing's happening in the next like several hours, right? Like space is a big place. And it's not the sort of place where everything shifts in the span of 5 minutes unless you're in CQC. So like you're like these ships are going to be moving for a while, like positioning, getting vectors, building up speed, all that stuff. So like what does it look like? Do you folks like relax? Do you like spend some time talking to people? Do we want to jump to like a little party in the captain's quarters? Like, is there a dinner like in some traditional British naval novel? Like, what are we looking for?
I mean, I feel like the dinner is perhaps also the time where we like get, we have dinner, but then that's also the time when we like get serious about talking about an alliance. So for me, I would like that scene, but like, I don't know, there might be some build-up moments. Like I definitely would like a scene with Rowan to catch up with her, and that might be a stolen moment in the middle of all this activity.
Cool. Let's we will 100% do that scene. Let me ask the other people that don't have family members on the ship, what are the rest of you doing? Dipper and Samara, I'm mostly interested in you because I'm pretty sure that Alondra just casually finds a moment to put an arm around Scion as if they're best buds, and she squeezes his shoulders gently and says, everything in your ability, and then just moves along just like nothing has happened.
Everything in my ability?
If you recall, you took a deal's bargain,
yes. Yep,
which included
right.
agreeing that you will do everything in your power to try and help.
Oh, I thought you resisted that. I thought that was the consequence you resisted.
Might be. I have to admit,
no.
I've had a rough week. It's been a very rough week for many reasons. I did not rewatch the last episode like I usually do.
It was not resisted. Never mind. It was. Yeah, I'm looking back.
Yeah,
to it right
I think that was the deal. That was like
it was
how we got her on board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like, one of the most pressing things on Scion's mind is like, why the fuck are people looking for him? Like, what is coming? And so like, I think somehow, somewhere, Scion would be trying to like make some contact with someone who can like try to answer this question for him. Like maybe Alonda has some information or some knowledge of like what House Yej is doing just sort of in general. Like we very early on, like episode 2 or something like that, we saw like the Yej battle cruiser or whatever, right? Where were we when we saw that?
It was a yacht. It was not a battle cruiser. Battle cruisers are huge.
Battle yacht.
Star,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it was a well-armed yacht, but it was still a yacht. It was barely a frigate. Anyway.
Was that in the same system as the Maelstrom?
It was Rin. Yeah, actually. It was the same system as Maelstrom, absolutely.
Yeah, so like, God, fuck, how do we approach this? I think, so my vice is pleasure, right? Mm-hmm. I think, okay. She like gives me a squeeze and says everything in your ability, and I say, yes. You know what would help? Wine.
Yeah. So you ask the soldiers where there's a mess. There's a lot of weird reactions to you, by the way. You're not used to this, right? Because like in Procyon, you go to the market, people are like, "What's up, random Scion?" And you're like, "I'm gonna get a drink at a bar," and there's like all sorts of people who are like, "Yeah, you're getting a drink at a bar." No, that's not what it's like. You walk through hallways and it's creepy because people will like whisper behind their hands and look at you. Folks will do double takes when you turn a corner. You've never, that's actually not, no, because like in your house, people expect you. So you've never actually seen this before, right? Like, especially not anywhere in Procyon. Like they are reacting and it's not
because I am a mystic or.
Oh yeah, sure. You can think that.
What?
No, it's not.
Is there something I need to do to get more information about why people are reacting to
You
me
could
strangely?
ask them. Like it could. Oh, I'll just tell you. Well, actually, you know what? This is funny. So I think like you ask for directions. You're like, where is the mess? And they respond with something like, your lordship, your majesty. Like they seem like confused as to what your correct title is, but they're not confused about the fact that you're noble.
And I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah, 2 left and a right. Your Sirness, your Highness, your eternal. What? I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
yeah. His eternal eminence, Scion, desires wine. So point me towards where it is, and also it better be good because I'm entertaining a very good friend of mine.
I am so sorry. But yeah, they have like the equivalent of box wine. But I mean,
yeah, okay.
you know, it's the mess. It's not the fancy high quality quarters.
Well, this is what we've got. So like I bring like 2 boxes like over my shoulders to Alonda, and I like set them down, and then I like just like open the top of one. It's like broaching a keg, right? I'm just like then I say, we gotta talk.
Okay, all right, cool. So I think Alonda was given some quarters. By the way, I would like to point something out, that quarters on this ship are pretty tight. You would imagine that a battlecruiser being big has more space, but a lot of that space is devoted to like power cabling, shield generators, weapon systems,
ammunition tunnels. Yeah.
So you folks realize to an extent, I don't know if this is related to Whisper or not, but you realize to an extent that there's a sense of luxury living on a ship of your own. Like your quarters are nicer, and have more space. Like these people definitely share showers and bathrooms. That's a thing. So like it's a little weird, right? Like you know, being on a hegemonic military vessel, it's not the same as having your own ship. Cool. Let me switch to someone else for a second, which is to say Samara and Dipper. What are you folks doing while someone's talking to a pirate queen and Sean is trying to catch a moment with his daughter?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Samara, if Samara has ideas. Cause I could jump on board with your plans, or I have some ghosts in my brain.
Samara doesn't really have any sort of ulterior motive here, and so she's going to do her go-to thing when she's not super stressed, which is just talk to all the people and find the goings-on about this area, who they've fought, what's going on, looking for any good gossip, right? Any information that could give her a leg up in some random situation that they might find themselves in.
Okay. So I'm gonna set a slight scene, and you tell me if this feels like the right vibe, and if it doesn't, we'll just back away from it. It's okay.
Cool.
But I feel like this is a lot like Starbucks having Friday night poker. You find like a game, and you get some like stogies and drinks with the like armed forces who are like off duty. Does that feel appropriate?
I love it. It's great.
Okay. So yeah, they're talking about like skirmishes that they had. They talk about the fact that Drexler is dead. Drexler got killed by. They said that there was a ship, and they didn't understand how the ship kept knowing where he was hiding, but it kept finding him. And they had there's a name. There's a particular Legion battlecruiser that they say seems to know where people are, even if they shouldn't. Like they know that they're not finding them via scans, but they're not sure how they're finding them. And apparently Drexler went down fighting, so they managed to incapacitate their ship, which is why this ship is having a chance to repair. And you get this like weird sense of like grim determination where they're like, well, I guess this is our last stand, so we're gonna go down swinging, and we're gonna try and kill as many of them as we can. Like it's pretty staid. Like they're not like, we're gonna be victorious and the universe is gonna change. They're like, seems like the chips came up bad, but we've trained for this and it's okay. So they're just like, man, we're off duty, so let's make the most of it. This might be the last off-duty rotation we get. And yeah, they talk about the sector. There's apparently a plan that the Admiralty has of something of like trying to retreat to the Iota shipyards because they're pretty sure the Legion's not going to open fire on them because there's some like political ramifications. But at that point, they're like in the open because so far they've been banking on hiding, and now they can't hide anymore. And so they're like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to fight, but like that might raise actual like hegemonic flags, and they didn't want to get the Legion additional support, but at this point they don't have a lot of options because they don't have a lot of resupply and stuff like that. So that's mostly the vibe. That's mostly the information. Is there anything else you want from these folks?
I don't think so specifically, unless somebody else has an idea of something that Samara can go after.
Do you want to make some sort of fortune roll to see how good your luck is at cards?
I would love to make a fortune roll.
All right.
I'm
I feel
certainly
like
not engaging with advice right now because I only have 2 stress.
well, I'll tell you what, if you want at the end of this session, you can remind me of this and we can give you an extra die on your vicing roll because you performed it on screen and did all the stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's throw 3 dice. I feel like that's an appropriate fortune roll here.
Cool.
Because you're scoundrel, you're probably good at some of these games.
I think you even have like trick cards and like
I do have trick cards
as some of your equipment.
You don't have to mark them. You don't have to use cheaty cards. You can actually play straight.
Oh yeah, no, she's not cheating. She's playing smart. 4.
All right, cool. So I feel like you win some, you lose some. It's pretty fair. You have good turns of luck. You have bad turns of luck. You know, you come out mostly ahead. You didn't lose, but it's not like enough to give you an extra coin or anything.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. Dipper, are you doing anything fancy?
Yeah, like maybe now that there's some time, a little bit of like downtime. I think Dipper, like there's a lot going on with our crew, and Dipper understands that. But I think Dipper's also grappling with that parallel, like there are ghosts in my brain. So I think if there's like a few hours, we'll like excuse himself to go charge or something, or like, and will instead attune to the way to try and like get a hand. To try and spy, I think, like try and spy on these like ghosts, like in them to get a handle on who they are without them realizing. So I think that's what Dipper is gonna try and do.
Yeah. Okay. Give me an attune roll. Let's.
Okay.
Sure. Gaze into the abyss here.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
We're doing a
I'm gonna
thing.
Open your mind to the psychic maelstrom.
Totally.
of your second core.
I'll just do risky standard for the
yeah.
roll.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. This could be great. And by great, I mean
oh my god.
No.
That's a 1 and a 2.
No.
Hey, a roll that I don't think is getting the Legion closer to us at least.
Yeah.
Great. So I feel like you're in some sort of
I go into, I guess, a supply closet or utility closet or something, and I don't know, like
on your ship
or on our ship. Yeah, it probably is like in that weird crew space that Dipper has with like the void eel in it and that kind of thing. That feels like their safe space.
You actually have quarters now. Do you not use your quarters?
Yeah, let's use the quarters. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if like Dipper would want to be in a place that they might be found if they're doing something that they feel like they shouldn't be doing. But yeah, we'll say they're in Dipper's quarters. Yeah.
So yeah, so I feel like you're kneeling or sitting on the ground in some fashion, and it's pretty obvious that like your lights dim as you're like focusing inward and whatnot, and you're trying to spy on them unseen. And I feel like with a failure like that, you do neither, which is to say that not only do they spot you, but like spying is not a thing. So yeah, I think we see whatever is going to become the set piece of the show that indicates that Dipper is somehow inside their core. So it's some like scintillating light patterns, like light broken up inside of a gem, and all sorts of like strange bioorganic metal walls and floors that are filled with cabling that pulsates almost with a heartbeat. And yeah, I think you focus, and then we see you like kneeling in this room, and you hear the like of the strange Irva that gives you lessons, and it goes, "You are not supposed to be here, 83. It is not your time yet." What do you want to do?
Oh, that's a good question. I think there's a flare of like what Dipper interprets as like frustration, because it's like, who are they to tell me who I can and can't be in my own brain? But then I think sort of quite neutrally says like, well then where am I supposed to be?
I think what it says is like, this is the home for those who have passed. We are guides. We are not the ones that walk the world. Like you have a task and an oath you should be doing, not sitting here pondering.
I think Dipper is like internally is thinking like, well, we did make a promise, and as far as I understand from Whisper, promises it to be fulfilled. And
yeah, I think maybe Strash is not doing a great job, but I think that like perhaps a lot of the terms that they use is like it'll have like subtitles which are like you made a promise, but like what it actually says something is like you have integrated a new directive or something like that. Like
right.
Yeah.
And I have a question. Like, do I feel that the pull of that directive, like internally, like is it a thing that's kind of motivating, like from that extra core part that I have?
So I'm gonna say that Strash loves Strash likes player autonomy. So I'm gonna say that between your damage and your remodulation by the ghosts, you get the sense that there is a pull of some sort, but like it probably would have been absolutely mind dominating under other circumstances, but you have free will, and so like you can feel the itch, but it's like something you want to scratch, not like something that's driving you, right? Like it's not
Cool.
consuming your thoughts. And like you remember how like that one Urbot was like this is my purpose, and because I like capitalizing like a German, like that purpose would be clearly a capital P purpose, right? Like what they mean is like this is now my raison d'etre, and yeah, like it's not the same for you. It's there. It's just not. Yeah.
And mechanically, it's represented as you have the haunted trauma, right?
Yep.
And trauma.
So you can follow it for XP or not.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a
Cool.
carrot, not a stick for you.
That I think Dipper like does like sort of scratch their chin almost to sort of like physicalize that feeling. And I what would they do? I think they're feeling a bit petulant. I think they would probably just try and ignore what their guide is saying, and will try and like find center with the way again, and sort of like try and feel rooted in the way that they've trained with Scion's mentor, and just try and block it out.
Cool. Yeah, it's actually interesting because like
yeah.
well, let me give you a couple more carrots just for a moment, and we'll see how the
cool.
We'll see how the roll goes. But I think that there's a couple of other figures. It's just that you feel like they maybe can't all speak at once. Like maybe they have to take turns, or like maybe certain situations bring out certain ones. But yeah, you see like, remember the weird many-limbed angry looking one that was like up in a corner? Yeah, like I think you see it like scuttling forward almost as if it's like curious. It's like, is it my turn? What is it?
Cute.
Sniff it. But yeah, you see a couple of figures sort of in the wings indicating that there's probably a few more ghosts. It's just that this one seems to be the one that teaches and speaks the most. The rest of them are, most of the other ones you're sensing are not necessarily like highly verbal. So yeah, why don't you give me a roll and we'll see if you bring any good or bad ghosts with you.
Oh heck yeah. Is this like Everest Standard again with a tune?
Oh yeah. It'll be great.
I got a 5.
A little better.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're gonna get out, but there is going to be a consequence, which is to say, you sit there and you're doing that thing where you're focusing, and like the camera keeps like focusing in on you. And just because apparently this episode, I just really love doing this, a metallic hand, right? Like obviously like lands on a shoulder, and what it says is, it says in this cold as ice kind of robotic sounding voice, right? Like it says like, don't listen to her, child. There's only one way to execute your purpose, and you will know when you need help. And like as like the world fades, right? Like Dipper's eyes open and they are like a color that they've never been before.
Oh,
And
cool.
then that color fades out. What color is the color of like the terrifying evil
I
crime
gotta
that's been
do
banned for all eternity?
I have to do a callback to Blue Coats and say it's violet. Like it's
Okay, great.
it's-
Yes. So we will know that when things go really, really bad and Dipper does not act like themselves, their eyes are violet. So
That's
let's do
super
that.
cool. I also like to add, like, just before that, like, I think as the other ghosts kind of come into the periphery and that one kind of scuttles forward and Dipper feels like there are these, like, other non-verbal, like, communicative voices trying to contact them. I think they do feel a bit, like, empathetic towards that and maybe have that moment of, like, oh, these are my people. They're just very old and they clearly have a thing that they need to do. And maybe like I should be listening to that. And like I think there is that softening moment, and then we get like that hand, and then it's like, oh shit, like this is scary now.
Yeah, this feels like that. Avatar moment, right? Like suddenly like the eyes glow and whatnot. We're like, oh shit.
Oh heck yeah.
This is the scariest hell ever.
That's awesome.
Your purpose. Do not let any organic stand in your way. Cool. So Sean, your daughter Rowan is pouring out a dram of something that suspiciously looks like space whiskey. And the two of you get a second to chat. What do you want to talk about?
Sorry, I hear you said Rowan and Whisper get a second to chat.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I think the two things, I just want to see her, that our sort of initial connection was interrupted, but also I want to warn her. I was there when Alondra was like, hey, do anything in your power. So yeah, I think maybe like could we be like walking like the observation deck, or like walking like where some repairs are going on in the background, like walking
if you want to, sure. I was just gonna put it in her like personal quarters.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like walking through the ship.
All right, that's fine. That's cool. Fine. We were just joking because I mentioned space whiskey and Steven named it Spotch. Anyway, sorry. All right, great. Yeah, you're walking
whiskey. Yeah.
You're walking.
Yeah,
and so there are some repairs going on. What's up?
I think I'm just like start by being like, it's incredible that you've held on as long as you have. Things are tough right now, but you've been doing amazing work.
What she says is like, I've got a pair of twins on comms and piloting. The lady that's actually reading their emotions, we refer to as the witch. She shrugs. She goes like, I don't know half the time how she detects Legion movements, but they're outside of scanner range, and she's making guesses that I can't compensate for. But she says, I appreciate the fact that they're keeping the ship together. She says, we're giving them good lickings. We're giving better than we're taking, but the problem is that their resources are much larger than ours.
Yeah. How is her eminence?
She gives you a look like she wasn't expecting you to ask, and says, do you want to see her?
I'm sure we will tonight at dinner. Is she okay? Like,
we would all die before anything happened to her.
I'm sure she's physically fine. How is her spirit?
She clocks everyone that's doing repairs and stuff to make sure that no one's overhearing it. Right. And then she says, she's a 14-year-old girl under fire. How the fuck do you think her spirit is?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is like the moment where I try to, to really connect with her. And, we get to a point where maybe there's like a force field up because there's a breach in the hull and we're looking out at space. And I kind of put my arm over her shoulder and I'm like, how about yours? How are you doing? Yeah. How about yours?
This is she gives a joke, right? Like she never calls you this except but jokingly. She says like, old man. She like, like knocks the hand away, but like playfully, right? Like, she says, the Academy's trained us for this.
Sure.
She says, doing as well as can be expected.
You're so much my kid. Oh, all right. All right, well, let's talk business. Because it's tonight we're gonna meet, and Alondra has a lot of resources going for her, and I think you should be friends. But I know she's gonna want it on her terms. I know she sees you hurting right now, and she's gonna make offers that are probably not great. And I'm gonna support you in any way I can. We're on good terms, but my little ship doesn't mean enough to sway it. So what can I do for you tonight to make sure that you don't get back to Door Corner?
Stretch doesn't have really good sort of high scale like tasks at the moment. We can talk about.
Yeah, maybe we can flash back to this when the moment comes up. But I think like in this moment, like if she needs something of me, she can the audio can cut out as she's talking to Whisper, and we can find out what she said later on.
Say, actually, I might have a job. And she puts a hand on your shoulder and we'll cut away. I'm gonna actually roll on the jobs table and pick something that's appropriate. Because I have a couple of ideas. I think that there are actual, like, honest to God bounty hunter jobs that you might be able to do where you extract a person that might be able to help them or something like that.
Cool.
So if what you're asking is, can I get a job from the Lost Legion? The answer is yeah. That's actually how this game works. I generate
totally
random.
Not what I was asking, but I'm super into it. Like,
so that's the thing about this game is that when you first start, the GM rolls up randomly on some tables, and you're going around and doing some jobs and stuff like that. But what the GM is actually saying is, whose story are you interested in, right? Because like, you can't have episode 4 without Luke and Han Solo joining the rebellion. Like,
right.
The Battle of Yavin doesn't happen if they don't do that. And so similarly in Scum and Villainy, we bounce around until you find somebody whose cause speaks to you, and then you work with them. And so like when the players come to you and say like, hey, does the Lost Legion have a job? I can roll on a table, and if I can come up with anything even semi-sensible, yeah, of course they do. So that's fine. Cool. Let me jump to Sion. Sion, you're having a chat with Alonda. What would you... She's definitely got one foot across the knee of the other, and she definitely sets her wine glass down next to the box and looks at you and says, what would you like to talk about?
So your people probably filled you in. While we were going through the gate, we got stopped.
She looks a little bit more serious. She says, yeah.
They weren't looking for you.
I certainly hope not. It's not anyone that can guess that I would be deciding to take a little vacation in the Iota sector.
I'm pretty sure they were looking for me.
She raises 2 eyebrows and says, go on.
So here's the thing. You know the Rin system better than anyone, right? I'm sort of like talking her up. Like you're the pirate queen. You sit in the heart of the maelstrom, and your forces extend out to the entire system and beyond. You know what's up, and I know. What was the name of the frigate? The Golden.
The Golden Star
Gold
was
Star, yeah.
The Gold Star was in the Rin system. Did you hear anything about my family? About what they might be doing, what they're looking for?
She pulls out a knife. And sort of like twirls it and plays with it for a second while she's talking, and she says like, if you're asking if they're here specifically looking for you, no, I think that you are just an unlucky person. And she looks at the box of wine that the glass is next to, and she says, no, last I heard, they were here for sport. They were hunting some individual that was allowed to flee from planet to planet. You know, the usual shit your family does. And she jabs the knife into the box and pulls it out, and the wine pours perfectly into the glass.
Yes. Awesome.
And like it goes down the level and like stops pouring just as the glass fills enough, and then she like snatches it, and she says, she looks at you and she says, why? You scared of your family? And
I 100% do the same thing. Just like punch, pull out. Wine just like gushes all over my shirt. I just sit there, I look at it, I say, yeah.
It looks like a blood stain, by the way.
Yeah. There might be something to that. Unlucky. Yeah. Wow. Here's the thing I can't get my head around. They let us go.
Okay. Isn't that your job?
They just like, there's just like a pause, and then I say, I just repeat, they let us go. They saw us, they stopped us, they thought I was on the shit. Yeah, well, like we did the switcheroo, we hid me, but my family doesn't let go that easily. You know, they hunt from planet to planet. We chase people down. We don't stop. And then I go, oh fuck. I think I should go. Thanks for this. Thanks for this chat.
Love it.
Yeah, I think you're talking about this, right? And I think she just like hits her hand and like the comm on her wrist beeps, and she who's the one of the captains from the actual like Maelstrom, just like Captain Black. And do you want to do me a favor, and instead of moseying about this big, bold, beautiful vessel in repair, get back to our ship and make sure that we aren't dropping breadcrumbs. Cool. All right. I think there's probably let me ask the rest of you, is there any other scenes that you folks are interested in having before alarms blare?
I think I feel like I want to make sure that Whisper isn't speaking for the crew when he's not expecting alarms to blare. He's expecting a dinner where Alondra makes incredible demands for of the Lost Legion. So I think Jen can Whisper and Samara have a moment where they he catches her after like the game ends.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So Whisper is like, comes in and is like, wow, it is worse than I thought. I mean, I heard that they were hurt, but the ship has been torn up. Our little grapple arm isn't going to do a whole lot to help them. But I might have a job for us. Again, alluding to whatever job she might have given us. How do you feel about working for the Lost Legion? I wasn't expecting to come here with more than a sit down, but it looks like they really need help.
Yep, I don't disagree with you. Gotta say, a little nervous about working for some people whose crew think this is going to be their last stand.
I don't know that Whisper's picked up that vibe yet. So when you say that, and he
Yeah.
I think he can put two and two together. He's seen a lot of people here, and maybe they haven't said that as much to him, but yeah, I'd really rather it not be that.
I mean, I don't know what the alternative is, but this is going to require some fancy footwork, which I'm always a fan of fancy footwork. Don't get me wrong.
Pretty good at it.
But yeah, I think we're going to have to be trying to think, 6 steps ahead instead of the normal 1 or 2 that we try for. So you sort of get the feeling that Samara, at one time maybe was always out for number 1, always out for more money, but she's definitely become a part of the crew, right? So she's gonna stick with the crew. Yeah. She's gonna go with you guys. But yeah, she's gonna be real cautious. And
yeah, the fact that Samara is cautious is really has a lot of gravity, because she's usually the throw.
Oh yeah, no, she's playing cavalier to everybody who's not her crew, but the people on her crew can see how worried she is, and she's never worried.
Yep. Cool. I think that's great. That's great. Awesome. Thanks.
I'd like to have one more scene before we end, which is let me ask a question. Dipper, after your meditations, where do you go?
Oh, good question. I feel so lost without Ula. Like,
Betty.
I mean, you can come hang with Samara. That's fine. It won't be the same. But
where would Dipper go?
you could go to Ula's hammock and find Whisper.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Dipper does like go down to the engine room to like at least feel somewhat close to Ula. I think they go to the engine room, yeah, and
Awesome.
maybe they do like 10 to. I think they think about sitting in the hammock, and then they're like, no, I can't do that. So they just
like push the hammock a little.
Yeah,
bit
like push the hammock a little bit.
But do you stay on board, or do you go and look for the rest of the crew on the ship?
I think Dipper would go and find people. I think after having that meditative exercise, yeah, maybe after sort of like having some quiet time in the engine room, feeling Ula's presence would then go and try and find other folks to be near people and not so much in their own head.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a moment where you're opening the hatch and stepping out and gonna go look for your crew, and you see Scion returning to the ship, right? Like he's jogging down the hallway towards you, about to try and find out. You know, I assume you're about to try and find out if you're being followed and everything, and you hear a voice that neither of you recognize. It sounds young. It sounds like, you know, it says hello cousin, right? Like that's all it says. And if you look over, there's obviously several people in like Lost Legion armor with the friggin' like Phoenix logo across their chest. It's the full like 40K I can survive in space get up, right? And then there's this like little, I think I called her 14, but I think she's like 16 or something like that. Like it's a young girl, like white robe, weird like headdress or whatever, you know, and you remember for a second Alanda touching the side of Sion's face, and you realize that House Yej was the last house to hold the hegemonic ascension. So the Empress, the child Empress, looks almost exactly like Sion does, because apparently, thanks to Steven writing backstory, they use genetic manipulation and like weird cloning stuff going on. So yeah, you look at each other, and it looks like a 16-year-old girl version of Sion is right there. What would the two of you like to do?
I see they share the same serial number as you do, Sion.
I just turn to Dipper and I say, yeah, that's about right.
Not too far off.
Like conventionally, how would I address her? Like,
oh, she has a title.
Okay.
Go on. I mean,
yeah, like
you're a little bit different because you're noble.
Right.
But I believe she is Her Excellency, the One True Hegemon. Elite Royal Resplendent.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, cousin is fine if you want to be informal. It might annoy some people, but it's probably not a big deal. But like, Your Highness, Your Excellency, whatever, like, role play it. I didn't actually write any rules on this.
Yeah, I think I probably.
The etiquette system is not in the book there. So
it's in Throne of the Void. It's not in here.
Yeah.
And actually, if you fail it in Throne of the Void, you bring shame upon your house and you lose standing. There is a reputation. So anyway.
Yeah, I just I turn to her. I say, Your Excellency, it's good to see you well. We just have something very important to look into. Kind of a time-sensitive issue. Can I help you? How are you?
She says, what, have you met in person? No, you wouldn't have. She would have left.
Yep.
So yeah, I think she looks at you and says, she says, I'm afraid that they keep me quite a bit locked up. I was hoping that we could perhaps speak before the formalized setting required decorum.
Okay.
I think Dippa shoots Slan a look that says, like, do you want me to stick around? Like, do you want some privacy?
I feel like I'm trying to think of like a way for us to have established like, you know, code talk for like when members of the crew are in difficult situations. And I'm like, you know, I give you the response that's like, everything's fine. There's no problem. Like, it's okay for you to be here, right? But I'm not coming up with like, you know, stovetop diesel engine. This is, you know, corn cob pipe, that kind of thing.
Yeah, then Dipper will like sort of remain by your side and give you that emotional support that you need while you're talking to your cousin.
Yeah, I say, Your Excellency, would you care to join us on a tour of the ship in the swift direction of our docking bay?
I would. Her guards look grumpy because that is all they can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, she doesn't so much walk with you as she flows effortlessly.
I'm just like, oh god, yeah. You see Scion like begin flowing as well.
Oh, good.
Like,
you actually like do that thing where it feels like there's a string attached to your spine,
like,
and you.
Yeah.
She pauses and looks at your arm as if she's expecting you to offer her an elbow.
Yeah, I do.
She pats it and then it uses it to help prop you up so that you look appropriately regal.
Right.
It's obvious this poor child has had many lessons in decorum.
Yes.
So she says, do you wish to tell me about your adventures in the sector? And you feel the clock ticking in your head, but go on.
Yeah, like it's like that thing where Scion is like, there's an objective to this conversation. I need to hit that objective, but in order to hit that objective, first I have to do X, Y, and Z, and I have to do them in that order, and I have to spend the appropriate amount of time on Y, or else it'd be incredibly rude. And just like, yeah, you know, I speak eloquently and passionately about the members of the Persephone, from Ula, the scrappy mechanic who keeps the ship in perfect operating condition, and also perfect perfect disrepair, right? And Whisper, who has connection with the Lost Legion and is one of the most noble and faithful companions that I have ever been proud to know, even though he doesn't understand the mysteries of the way as our family obviously understand it. Dipper, who has given me a lot to think about. And then I just like look over at Dipper, and Samara, who really is incredible with a blade. You should see her action. It's impressive.
I look forward to it. She pats your hand gently and says, Dipper, you do not have a designation. What do you think of my cousin?
I like Dipper. I think like thinks back to like those drunken nights and like the like getting up on tables and stuff in the bar and that kind of thing. And
Scion table dancing while drunk. Yes. All right. And then what's your answer?
There's 100% just a stain of wine all over the front of my shirt.
Yeah. I think Dippus is like he is the most delightful friend. And yeah.
She smirks as if that is a vastly understated answer and pats your hand again. Scion. Yeah, I think there's probably a moment where you reach the airlock to your ship.
Yeah.
And she says, it's traditional for the captain to invite me aboard, but it doesn't seem like your captain's here.
Funny story, actually. I am the captain of the Persephone.
Oh my. That occur? Did you buy it before or after you left the family?
Yes. Well, here is the crew quarters. Very nice.
Okay. Yeah, I think you step aboard and you're starting to describe the stuff just as you did, which is probably when the pirate shows up and goes, I think we might have a problem. And he shows you the little tracking device. He's like little flashing light, like suddenly turns like a bright red.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
I think that's where we play what's it called? We play the ending show tunes. We get the to be continued JoJo Arrow.
The commercial break?
Oh no. I think it's noon. I think we're out of time, right? That's the end of the episode. Tell me if I'm
We're
wrong.
an hour early. Usually we go an hour later.
We're not. Let's get into some action then. Yeah, commercial break. Great.
All right.
Have fun. Drink Space Pepsi. Let's get back.
We'll see y'all in a few minutes.